so blessed to have worked with one of the legends in the personal development space, but not just that space, but one of those people who truly helped you break free from limitation and create the life that you love. And that's literally where we started in 2014. You know, sometimes we get to a point where we realize we are living in a world where it's not fulfilling, or you're not happy, or you're not healthy, and your relationships aren't where you want them to be, or you're not living how you want to be. And this is where we come in to tell you, you can create life and live life on your terms. You can imagine it and live it and experience it. But we're going to walk you through 3 days of momentum to help you create positive momentum in your life, and then begin applying to change it. Because one thing is starting momentum, the next thing is keeping momentum, so your results actually change, so that your life unfolds in a beautiful, abundant, rich way. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to welcome you. I hope you have a pen and paper ready, but just jot down what resonates with you. This is not school like you know it. This is just about you, and you. If it resonates with you, then I want you to listen and write that down, because the truth always resonates with the essence of who we are. Okay. And your spirit, right? You're a spiritual being. And, Matt's going to really help lead you with that and awaken this desire inside of you. But I want to remind you that you are not a body. You have a body. This is your vessel, but you are a spiritual being. And as a spirit, you are here for a reason. So I want to ask you in the comments, why are you here? Can you type it in? Why are you in momentum, and what momentum do you want to create in what part of your life? Right? Because the thing is, we can either create positive momentum or negative momentum, but momentum is momentum. But we're here to help you create positive momentum. Okay? Positive momentum. So why are you here? Okay? And just really go inward. What is it that you want to create more of? Some of you don't know what that is yet. We're going to help you. Some of you do know, because you've been wanting it for a while and you've been working with this idea. Okay? What is it that you want to create? And here's where I'm going to introduce you now to the first part of this, which is your spirit. All right? Your spirit wants to be expressed. Wants are a natural desire for all of us. The problem is we have stopped allowing ourselves to want, because we keep looking at how it's going to happen. And if we can't see how it's going to happen, we then stop wanting. And then you suppress your spirit that wants to be expressed. In my opinion, one of the biggest causes of anxiety and depression is suppression. That's all that is. If you really believed you could achieve your dreams and goals, you would be free from the inside out. You would be expressing your spiritual desires. That's why as children, we want, I want this, I want this. It can get really frustrating when the resources aren't there to execute what you want. And this is why we're here to help you. Because my great mentor taught me, you don't need to know how. But if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. But what it requires is this desire to be expressed. Okay? And I want to really help you connect with the essence of who you are. Because your spiritual DNA is absolutely perfect. It wants to be expressed. You were meant to live an abundant life, your way, in your unique expressed way. Do you notice that two humans are never the same? Why? Because they're not meant to be. They're meant to be unique and different. You're meant to be expressing your uniqueness. You have gifts and talents and abilities inside of you. And then it's a matter of giving yourself full permission to want what you desire. Desire is that fuel. Desire is in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, right? Desire is a chapter in there and essential to creating success. The first part that I believe personally before the desire is you've got to give yourself permission. You're going to let yourself want. You got to let yourself dream. You got to let yourself take that lid off and say, you know what? What do I want? How do I want to live? What do I want to do in my days? How do I want to spend my days? What difference do I want to make? How do I want to live? Do I want to travel? Where do I want to go? How do I live? See, so often it's a one day, it's a someday, it's a she can do that, but I can't do that. He can do that, but I can't do that. No, this is where momentum comes in. It's an abrupt change. And if you've been going in the wrong direction, so to speak, with negative energy, creating things you don't want, right? You'll feel that because the energy environment around you is not enjoyable. So if you've been going in a negative momentum, you need an abrupt change. The fastest way to change momentum into a positive direction is having an abrupt change led and fueled by your desire. If you want to create an abrupt change in a negative direction, make a bold decision based on fear. And that'll lead you down that road. So this is where faith comes in. Faith is that driving force behind. Okay, you got to trust in something you cannot see. So right now, you are at a point where you have a decision that over the next few days, we're going to help you, where you get to create positive momentum in the right direction. It's going to demand of you to trust in what you can't see right now, but we're going to get there, right? Because before we go there, we have to take the lid off. We've got to let ourselves dream. We've got to let ourselves create. A pen and a journal and you in a beautiful energy is all you need to create the life that you want. And once upon a time, I used to sit in this little tiny storeroom in an office. It didn't even have a window. And I was practicing out of there. And I remember sitting at my desk in front of the computer thinking, you know what? I would love to have a business with Matt and we do what we love and we spend our days together and, you know, can raise our children. And at that time, that was not my reality. I was driving. He was driving somewhere else. He was an electrician. I was a naturopath. It was a different reality. But here's the thing. Anyone who's created anything better or beyond that's advanced humanity has not let their results control them. They've let themselves go there. And that is my biggest message for you today. Personally, for you, Matt's going to have his own before I bring him on. But my biggest message for you is to let yourself go there, because you can never create something if you haven't let yourself get emotionally involved with having it. Otherwise, it's just a stillborn idea. It will never grow. Why? Because you never even created the seed. So today is about creating that seed and nurturing it. That's the process, right? So over the next 3 days, you are going to be taken through some exercises as well, okay, to help you, okay? Today we're going to teach you, but then you've got an application. And then tomorrow we're going to teach you, and then you've got an application. And there's the third day, the third and final day. So make sure that you commit to the 3-day process. It is absolutely paramount if you want momentum that you immerse yourself in this and you follow our direction, because this works. If you apply what we teach, you will achieve what you want, because it happens by law. Everything happens by law. It's not luck. It's not an accident. You get to create it. You are the author, the producer, the screenwriter. You are doing all of it. And today you get that chance to create that abrupt positive change in your life. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Matt on to take the stage and help you guys fuel that fire from within, to get in the spirit of what you want. I want you to keep asking yourself this question. If anything was possible, what would I love? What would I love for me? What would I love for my life? And if you have a family, what would I love for my family? And how would I love to spend my days? Okay, because that will essentially be your homework by the end of the day, okay, that you will be applying. All right, Matt, I'm so excited for everyone. Matt has completely transformed his life from once upon a time being an electrician, didn't even finish high school, and here he is running a global company, being able to work from wherever, whenever, life by design. It does not happen by accident. So, Matt, I'm going to pass it over to you. Welcome.
Thanks, Nat. I'm really excited to be here. And as I was listening to you, Nat, it was taking my mind back to, when I was an electrician back, for all those years. I spent 11 years as an electrician. For those of you who don't know me, and as Nat mentioned, I left high school because I didn't want to complete school. And I became an electrician because my dad said that was the best trade to do. If I was going to leave school, I had to start a trade. So I never really gave any thought to what it was that I wanted or what I wanted to do. I just sort of took the next step, right? That sort of presented itself. But years into being an electrician, I was probably about 5 years in, and I really remember sitting there and I was thinking to myself, there has to be another way, right? I was very dissatisfied with when I looked into the future and I saw myself at the age of like 40 and 50, still doing electrical work. I was like, it just didn't feel right for me. I'm like, there has to be another way. There has to be something else out there for me. It has to be more than what I'm currently doing. And I just that question just kept rolling around in my mind for quite a long time. And I never asked myself some of those questions that Nat was just asking you. I never asked myself what it was that I wanted. I was never taught to ask myself that. But I did. There was just something within me just kept tugging on my consciousness that said there is something else out there for you. And so I left my job. I started my own business, and I thought that was the answer for me, just being my own boss, running my own business. I had contractors working for me, but still that little tugging feeling within me that like there's something else out there for you. And I started getting into personal development. I was reading self-help books, watching YouTube videos. I was doing little mini courses and things like this. And I felt like I was getting more positive. I was implementing some positive habits like meditation and mindfulness, but nothing was really transforming. I was still jumping from like one author to another author, one teacher to another teacher, and I wasn't making any major headway. I was dissatisfied with areas of my life, like my finance, my financial situation, obviously my career. We had Oliver, our 1-year-old son. So there was a big change in our the dynamic of our relationship as well. And so there were a few areas of life that there was something missing that we really wanted to improve. And it wasn't until we came across Bob Proctor's work that we started to get some answers as to why we could know things like, get into personal development, be more positive, and not really experiencing major changes. And when Nat and I flew over to meet Bob in December 2014, it was like he ripped out my head off my shoulders, shook it around and put it back on. I just couldn't believe what he was teaching was not like common knowledge. And there was just something inside that said, okay, like there's something here for you. Okay. And I couldn't believe that what he was sharing, my family didn't know. My friends didn't know. And so Nat had this same feeling as well. And she's like, okay, how can we learn more about this and how can we share it with our family and friends back home? And so we became coaches and consultants, and we had Bob guiding us. And within 3 months, I had left my career as a electrician full-time. Nat and I were running this coaching consulting business full-time together after 3 months of starting it. And by the end of our first year, one of the top 5 coaches and consultants for Bob in the whole world. Okay. And I'm not saying that to impress you about me or us, but to impress upon you, like things change very, very quickly. And we had no idea what we were doing when we first started this business. We really had no idea, but we were really, really excited about what we were doing. And our belief was very high in what we were doing as well. But we had, up until that time when we met Bob Proctor, we had momentum going in the wrong direction. Okay. In many areas of our life, momentum was going in the wrong direction. And being there in the room with him for 6 whole days, immersed in that environment, created an abrupt change in our thought patterns, our belief system, our habits, our self-image. So many things changed, but it was an abrupt change that created a shift in momentum. Okay. And it propelled us in a different direction in life. Okay. Now that's really, really important there. It literally, if you feel like you've got momentum going in the wrong direction right now, in any area of life, whether it's your health, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your career, your business, if you've got a business, it doesn't matter what area it is. If you feel like you've got momentum going in the wrong direction, you need an abrupt change in your belief systems, in your habits, in your behavior. Okay. And that's what we're hoping to do for you over the next 3 days, is create an abrupt change. Now, before we even got to meet Bob Proctor, I want you to know something and understand something very, very important. And that's already touched on it today. And that's desire. You have to have a desire to make the change. Okay. Now I want to read you something to help you with this. Okay. And I just want you to bear with me here. And this is written by Neville Goddard. He said, man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. All that befalls a man, all that is done by him, all that comes from him happens as a result of his state of consciousness. Okay, so all of your results in life right now are a reflection of your state of consciousness, where your consciousness is at. Okay, now he says, a man's consciousness is all that he thinks and desires and loves, all that he believes is true and consents to. Okay. Now, like I said to you, we had an abrupt change. Now, this is all part of it. He said, that is why a change of consciousness is necessary before you change your outer world. Rain falls as a result of a change in the temperature in the higher regions of the atmosphere. So in like manner, a change of circumstance happens as a result of a change in your state of consciousness. Then he's got a quote here from the Bible. It says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. To be transformed, the whole basis of your thoughts must change. Okay, so if you're experiencing results that you don't want in this particular area of your life, this is the cause of it. Okay, to be transformed, the whole basis of your thoughts must change. But your thoughts cannot change unless you have new ideas. Okay, and this was something that Bob Proctor really helped us with. By immersing ourselves in that environment, he started to help us to accept and adopt new ideas. He helped us start shifting our consciousness. Like I said, shifting our belief systems, shifting our perception on life and what we could do, but shifting our perception on ourselves. Okay. He says, for you think from your ideas. All transformation begins with an intense, burning desire to be transformed. All transformation begins with an intense, burning desire to be transformed. The first step in the renewing of the mind is desire. Okay? You must want to be different before you can begin to change yourself. Then you must make your future dream a present fact. You do this by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Okay? Now I want to pause right there for a moment. Okay? Desire, a lot of people, and this, I was this person. When I speak to a lot of people, I was speaking to thousands of people over the last nearly 9 years, from all different walks of life, all over the world. And one of the first questions I ask them is, what do you really want? More than anything else. And a lot of people have a very difficult time answering that. And I was that person. I really did not know. But what I found out, okay, if you're one of those people that you don't know exactly what you want, I found that the opposite of your greatest dissatisfaction is your greatest desire. So if you think what you're most dissatisfied with right now in your life, your greatest dissatisfaction, you say, what's the polar opposite of that? That is what you want most. That's what you want to change most. Okay, that's where your desire lies. And if you can really connect to that, if you can really connect to that polar opposite, which is the positive polarity. Okay, so a lot of people get emotionally connected to what they don't want, more so than they get connected to what they do want. Okay, and if you're emotionally connected to what you don't want in your life is moving in that direction more and more, because whatever we focus on keeps expanding and growing. Okay, that is a universal law. Whatever we focus on keeps expanding and growing. And the more you focus on it, the faster the momentum, okay, you're going in that direction. Okay, you pick up speed. Focus, okay, is based on our mental faculty, which is the will. And your will gives you the ability to focus on one thing to the exclusion of everything else. And if you're focused on one thing, which is what you don't want or what you don't like or what you're totally dissatisfied with, what you're doing is you're shortening the time frame of you from getting from where you are to where what you don't want, what you're dissatisfied with, okay? And you're picking up speed. And so I found that we have been programmed to focus on what we don't want. And if you can create a little shift, and like I said, just think, what is the polar opposite to this? How would I love to live? Okay, if you're scared of something, if you're scared of something happening in the future, say, okay, well, what would I rather? How would I rather it be? How would I love to live in the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months from now? Okay. And once you can paint that picture in your mind and then train yourself to see yourself as that person. What do you say? The first step in the renewing of the mind is desire. You must want to be different before you can begin to change yourself. Then you must make your future dream a present fact. You do this by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. See, a lot of people create an image of what they don't want based on their fears, based on what they don't want to happen, and they make that a present fact. They're using their imagination to see it. Okay, so in your mind, your imagination doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined. Okay, so your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined. So when you're imagining something that you don't want, okay, you're getting emotionally connected to that. And in your mind right now, that's happening. So that's why people will feel anxious, they'll feel scared just from something that's in their imagination. But when you can get really, really clear and paint a picture in your mind of exactly what you want and how you want to live, in your mind, okay, you do this in the present tense, in your mind, that's happening right now. And that starts to change your vibrational state, starts to change your emotional state. Okay, right then and there. Nothing's changed in your physical environment. Nothing's changed in your world. But now you're entertaining new ideas. What did he say here? To be transformed, the whole base of your thoughts must change. But your thoughts cannot change unless you have new ideas, for you think from your ideas. So when you give yourself this new target, not what you don't want, not what you fear, not your total dissatisfactions, okay? And dissatisfaction is a creative state. There's nothing wrong with being dissatisfied, okay? As long as you don't stay in that state of dissatisfaction, you flip your mind to what is it that I want? You flip it to a desire, okay? And you redirect your energy to that desire. So you got to get really crystal clear on how you want to live, the result that you want. So if it's your health, okay, paint yourself in words through writing and journaling exactly how you want to see yourself with your health. If it's being healthier, fitter, stronger, whatever it is, get clear on that. If it's your relationship, get clear on that. Paint a picture in words. Okay. If it's your business or your career, paint a picture in words. Okay. Get very, very clear and be very intentional, and don't leave anything out. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. When you're in this initial stage of getting creative, of deciding how you want to live, deciding who you want to become, don't worry about how it's going to happen. That's not important right now. You do not have to worry about that. It's just like a wish list. Okay. And you'd be very intentional. Okay. If I had a magic wand, you know what, even better. Like if you were writing a movie script, a perfect movie script of how you wanted to see this certain character, which is going to be yourself, and you're going to be the main actor in this script, write that script. Okay. And write about this person, but write it all in the present tense as if this is how you are living right now. Don't leave anything out. Okay. And understand that when you lock into that, your mind goes to work and start to coming up with ideas, plots, plans, everything that you need to help you get there. Okay. And we're going to go through that process in more detail over the next couple of days in how that works. But right now, all I want you to do is to get really connected to what you really want more than anything else right now. And forget how it's going to happen. Okay. You're immersing yourself with new ideas. Okay. You're immersing yourself, your consciousness with new ideas, because he said, a man's consciousness is all he thinks and desires and loves, all that he believes is true and consents to. Okay, you may not believe that you can do this right now. That's okay. Just do it anyway. Okay, we can build the belief. And when you understand how the creative process works, your belief will go up naturally. Okay, that's exactly what happened to me back in 2014 when I met Bob Proctor. Okay. And he transferred his belief to me. Now he's gone now, God bless him. He's transitioned to the next part of his journey. But, you know, he left such a huge impression on me through the belief that he transferred based on his experience. Okay. And I've kept adopting the ideas that he shared with us into my life and applying it. Okay. And I've shared it with other people and I've seen them transform their lives. Like I said, I shared my story of what we did in our first year of this business. Now, but we essentially created freedom for ourselves. We created freedom, but not only freedom, but fulfillment. I spend my days doing what I love. Is it perfect? My days are not perfect. It can always be better. I'm always working at improving everything that I'm doing, the way I live. I always want it to improve. Now, that is a natural part of us. Our spirit is always seeking greater expansion and fulfillment. Doesn't matter how good you're doing, you're going to naturally want to do better. Okay. You could be the top performer in your company right now. You're going to want to be better. Okay. You could be doing really well in your health. You could be very healthy and you want to naturally become healthier. Okay. That is spirit seeking fuller, greater expression and fuller expansion. Okay. And so what we want to do is don't suppress our desire for improved results. We got to let ourselves express it in greater ways. And so when you're asking yourself, what do I really want? Whatever comes to your mind, write it down. Don't suppress it. Don't doubt yourself. Okay, if you haven't got the ability or the skills or the resources that you need right now to do it, it's okay. You'll come across that. You can develop the skills, you can develop the abilities if you really want it. And this is why desire is so important. If you don't desire it, you're not going to be willing to do what it takes to become the person to create the things that you want to create. Okay. So you got to have that willingness. There are two questions that you got to ask yourself when you're setting any kind of goal. Okay. Or any sort of intention. Number one is, am I able to do this? And when you understand who you are, when you understand yourself as a spiritual being, having a physical experience, you should answer that question with an absolutely yes. I'm able to do this. I don't know how, but I'm able. The second question is the most important one, and that's, am I willing? Am I willing to do what it takes to become the person who can live this life? Am I willing to do what it takes to become the person who can experience this result or this achievement? Okay. That is the most important question. There has to be a willingness, because if you're going to create something beyond what you've created so far, you have to change. It's just you. It's the ideas that you're operating from. Okay. Your consciousness. You may have habits that are limiting you right now. You may have beliefs that are limiting you right now. Okay. These are all things that can change. Okay. But the essence of who you are is perfect. That's why you're able. The essence of who you are is perfect. Okay? And everything that you need to make whatever it is that you want happen, it's already here. It's already here in some form or another. Okay? You just need to become more consciously aware of how to bring it into form in your life. Like I think of, this phone, the iPhone, or any sort of smartphone. Okay? The way to create the phone has always been here. Always. The way to create the phone has always been here. What was missing was the conscious awareness of how to make it happen. Okay? The idea, someone obviously first had the idea in their mind of creating a phone that was mobile, that didn't have the cord. Okay? And do you see, and then it just slowly evolved, but it was ideas that started coming together. It was conscious awareness that changed, but the way has always been here. We just weren't aware of it. So the way for you to create whatever it is that you want, whether it's more freedom in your career, business, whether it's, your income, whether it's your health, relationships, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. This works exactly the same way for every single person, every situation. It's because it's the creative process. Okay? The way is already here. You just have to become consciously aware of it. And if you're willing to tap into your greatest resource, which is your mind, and develop it and allocate time to developing yourself, and you become consciously aware of yourself and the things that you need to change within you, then you can achieve anything that you want. I know that. I've seen people make the most remarkable transformations that it blows me away. Okay. And all it does for me is really keeps reinforcing what we're sharing is absolutely applicable to every person in every situation. And I'm talking about people curing stage 4 cancer. Okay. They were given 2 months to live. And there's a testimonial on our website if you want to go have a look at it. 2 months to live. The doctor told this person to get their affairs in order. They had 2 months. That was, I think, 4 to 5 years ago. The person is alive and healthy. They applied exactly what I'm sharing with you right now. I told the person, I said, don't worry about what the doctor said. You reject that. You get clearer on what you guys are going to be doing 1 year from now. I told them to plan a holiday. Go plan a holiday, a vacation for 1 year from now. So not planning to die, you're planning to live, and you're planning to live well. Like I said, that was 4 to 5 years ago. Okay. Got an image in his mind, not of him dying, got the image in his mind of him doing what he wanted to do with his wife. Okay. And so this is a creative process. His body, now the doctors took care of his body. Okay. He didn't just leave his body. The doctors took care of it while he was taking care of his mind. Okay. I've seen people that were, we're seeing psychologists, psychiatrists to overcome like negative habits, addictions. For the longest time, within 1 month, we had it fixed. They were focusing on the problem, not focusing on how they wanted to see themselves. Okay. And what it was they wanted. Within 1 month, it was fixed. The person went on to multiply their income after that. Once they got that sorted, they can focus on other things they wanted, multiplied their income, completely changed their life. Okay. It's absolutely remarkable what you can do when you start thinking in the right way. But the thing is, the problem is that we have never been taught how to think. We've never been taught how to use our mind. When we grow up, we go through high school, and we're not taught to use the greatest resource that we have, and that's our mind. Okay? Our thoughts are so powerful. Okay? They're like more powerful and more potent than laser beams. Okay? And they have a direct impact on us as well as our environment. They impact you directly. Okay? And when you can start to use it for you, you will see how your life starts to change. But like I said, today, all we're focusing on is your desire, and get connected to what you want. I promise you can change so quickly. Okay, if you look on our website or even on our YouTube channel, there's a testimonial from Natasha Pert. Such a remarkable story and how she turned her life around. Okay, I won't go through the whole story here, but look it up on our YouTube channel. I think it's called Natasha Pert Success Story. I might even post it in this group later today. It's so remarkable. Changed her relationship, changed her career, changed what she did for her own self-worth. Absolutely remarkable. And she felt like she was ready to give up on her relationship, and so many areas were just falling apart. But she started to get connected to what she wanted, who she wanted to become, and things started to turn around. Her husband's the same, Joshua Pert. Okay, look them up. You'll see their stories. So it doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter what you've achieved up to this point. It doesn't matter what you've tried up to this point. Like, you may be like me, you may have read self-help books, flooded your mind with all these YouTube videos and podcasts, and nothing's changing. I know what that feels like. It can be the most frustrating thing in the world. And you feel like you got all this information. You start one thing, you stop. You start another thing, you stop. Okay. All you need is direction. You need to get all that information organized. Get it organized, and you need to implement it in a specific kind of way to create order in your mind and flow. Okay. And when you can do it, essentially everyone's teaching the same thing in a different kind of way. But what I found is no one's teaching you how to recondition your mind, how to change those subconscious beliefs and habits. Let me read you something. Where was it? Yeah. I read this to my clients yesterday. It says, there is a mechanical attitude of mind which judges everything by the limitation of past experiences, allowing nothing for the fact that those experiences were, for the most part, the result of our ignorance of spiritual law. So if you're going to set this goal, if you're going to write out what you want to create, and you're letting your past control that and determine what you're going to write, determine what you're going to be doing in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months from now, you're limiting yourself. Forget what you've done up until now. It doesn't matter. You could be doing really well. You could be doing really, really poorly. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Our results are only telling us where our mind has been up until this point today. And if you don't change your mind, okay, what we say, the transformation, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. If you don't change your mind and you keep focusing on the results, the past or the present, you're going to keep recreating that, because that's where your focus is. That's where your attention is going. Okay, forget that. Put it aside. Okay, that won't change your results immediately. Okay, just by doing this exercise doesn't change your results right now. It's okay. We just know that the physical environment is just a reflection of where your mind has been up until this point. But you can change that, and you can begin changing it right now. And this happens by exact law. There is a law of perpetual transmutation. Energy is always moving from form, through form, into form. Okay, and this is where, if you focus on something new, this new description, and you start only focusing on how you can do it, not if you can do it. If it can absolutely be done, but the how, then your mind is a goal-seeking mechanism, and it's going to start to identify the ways, the means, the hows, the plots and plans. Everything starts coming to you. Okay, so like I said, don't worry about how. What's going to happen is just lock into it. Okay, have you ever noticed that when you want something, it could be like you're in the market for a new car, and then you see a particular car somewhere, you're like, you know what, I really like that car. And then all of a sudden you start seeing it here, you start seeing it there, you start seeing it everywhere. Why is that? The car has always been there, but now you can see it. What's happened? Your consciousness has changed. Now you're consciously aware of that car, so now you can see it. So your mind can only filter so much information. Okay, it does that to protect you. Otherwise, you'd just be overloaded with all the information. But it only sees based on your conscious awareness. And when you're looking for something, now you start seeing it. What is it? Seek and you shall find. When you look for something, you'll find it. So when you get clear on what it is that you want, and you start writing it down, this is your exercise for today. Don't worry about how, just get clear, put as much detail as you can into it. Write it all in the present tense. I'm so happy and grateful. Now that I am, And then you fill in the blank and you just write everything that comes to you. And if you have a hard time doing it, it's okay. Just be patient with yourself. It's okay if you're having a hard time doing it. Okay. I had a real hard time doing this when I first started because I was never trained to think this way. I was never trained to just let my mind and my imagination go to thinking of what it was that I wanted. So I was a bit disconnected with myself in what it was that I wanted. But it's okay. I spent a whole month thinking, okay, what do I really want? How do I really want to live? I had to unlock so much limitation. There was all this limitation, limited ideas, limited thoughts, limited beliefs. Okay. And this was even after I met Bob. I still had all these limitations. But you know what the truth is? I still have limitations. There is always going to be some sort of limit. And this is why I'm always studying. Even after 9 years, I'm still studying this every single day. So I can keep unlocking my limitations because I know my results are not perfect. I know my results can be so much better. And so the more I unlock these limiting beliefs, these limiting ideas, the more my consciousness expands, the better my life's going to keep getting. And the same applies to you. Okay. So forget the how. If you're having a hard time with it, just write what you can, write what comes to you. And then try again tomorrow morning or try again tomorrow evening, but give it another go and just keep asking yourself, what do I really want? Just let that question keep just flowing around in your mind. What do I really want? If I knew I couldn't fail, how would I really love to live? If I knew that I could achieve anything, how would I really want to live? Okay. I'm seeing Greg putting love hearts there in the chat. Greg's such an amazing story. Okay. Amazing story. I've seen him grow so much over the last couple of years that I've been working with him. He should be so proud of himself. I'm so proud of Greg. He's a landscaper and he's now writing a book. He's, coaching. He's made such huge transformations. He's got his other businesses now thriving as well. The things that you think that you cannot change right now, I promise you can change them if you're willing to. Okay, remember those two questions. Am I able and am I willing? And if you're willing, I promise you, you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to transform and change yourself, you will be rewarded in the greatest way. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for today. I want you just to finish off. I'm going to write up, I'll put a separate post and I'll tag everyone of the instructions in what to do. But all you're doing to keep it really simple is just getting crystal clear on what you want. Write a detailed description and write it all in the present tense. Okay. And Nat and I'll be back tomorrow to share another lesson with you guys so we can go deeper into actually what you need to do, start changing and making that positive momentum and taking you in the right direction. Thanks for joining, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care.